Hello and welcome to the conference call. My name is Chris Edwards, one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with my two beautiful other co-hosts, TJ and Rex. How are you guys doing today?
Lovely.
I'm good.
Inside joke, inside
I'm
joke.
fantastic. I'm fantastic.
I see you have your cold brew beverage. What do you have?
I have the same in a
Mm.
larger size.
Okay, well, I'm the only
Mm.
different one today. We're doing water today. Water
Oh,
today.
Detoxing, I
he's
see.
Yes,
being
yes.
good. He's being good.
So today's show and topic is sex in 2023. And what is sex in 2023?
An
Is it any
adventure.
different than sex in 2022 or 1990?
I hope
So
so.
I,
I don't
I
know if
hope
it's different, or I think maybe what's mostly different about it is a conversation that people are willing to have more
absolutely,
candidly amongst one another. Yeah.
absolutely. And because of this topic, we put it out there on our Instagram account as a
Ages ago.
survey. Yeah, maybe about a month ago. We've been busy. We've been busy, but we put it as a survey in our stories, and we got some reactions. And we want to kind of talk about these reactions, and then just kind of give our opinions on things. So, I guess let's just dive right into it.
Yeah.
Um, One of the first question that we asked people was, "Are you more traditional or adventurous?" Now, I have to say, this actually kind of didn't really surprise me, but kind of in a way. So, out of all the people that responded, 100% said adventurous. So, I
Hmm.
think the one thing to take away from this, and the times that we live in, is that people are a little bit more freer, and they want to be adventurous um, when it comes to sex. And it doesn't have to be sex in the bedroom. It's just pretty much just adventurous overall. What do you guys think about
Mm.
that?
I'm wondering about the responses because you said 100% said that they're adventurous, but like adventurous means different things to different people.
I was
Yes.
about to say, like, can we? I guess it's probably too late now since people have responded, but let's, for the sake of the video, let's maybe define what we mean by traditional and what we mean by adventurous.
So when I think of traditional, I'm thinking more of like okay, well, we have sex maybe, 2 days out of the week is scheduled and we're doing it missionary style and it's only in the bedroom. Like to me, that is
Okay.
giving me very
Wait,
traditional.
so frequency plays into adventure too?
It can be, yeah, because
Okay.
being adventurous sometimes also means being spontaneous. Or I'm not even saying the word right.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous, yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
I think that plays into it a little bit. So yeah.
Okay.
Um, but adventurous can mean a whole gamut of things. So, kind of give your take on adventurous.
So for me, adventurous means being willing to try all the things, like
Yes.
act out your fantasies or at least discuss your fantasies and see what your partner would be willing to try with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I would agree. I mean, to me it's breaking outside of those traditions, those norms, and doing the things that are considered taboo or exploring. And I don't think it's any secret that I'm quite adventurous. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that says vaccinated and ready to fuck. Um, I think it's no secret that, like, yeah, I'm pretty adventurous, and yeah, to me that means doing the things that are kind of often on the fringe of
Yes.
what may be sexually acceptable, or exploring the things that
But
are
I
taboo.
was, what's an example of a fringe sex activity?
And acceptable, because I think that acceptable isn't what you deem acceptable for you.
Well, so cruising in public sex, let's just say that for as an example, I would hazard to guess that most people would not be into that, or most people are not exploring that particular fetish or kink.
I would
So
beg to differ. Yeah, let me
mm,
tell you why.
okay.
Because if we broaden our concept of cruising
Okay.
and place it in the context of a nightclub, I think most people are cruising.
Mm, this is true.
Okay, perhaps, yeah, perhaps,
And
You
that
know
and
what I
perhaps.
that
mean?
go
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
mm.
Go ahead.
But I get what you're saying. Like cruising is very like haphazard, very like public.
It's risky.
It's risky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving Park 1983.
Oh, what a time! If I were alive.
You were alive, girl.
I
You were 21 in 1983. But
Yeah,
no, so when I think about that, because plenty of people have sex like in nightclub bathrooms. As a matter of fact, when I was covering an event,
recently,
yeah,
Oh.
people were like having full-on sex on the dance floor.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
listen, I've seen people like just going, especially coming from a Caribbean island. A lot of times, Caribbeans are less, as we would say,
Inhibited.
stush, or
Mhm.
stush. So you'll see people on the beach having sex, not a
I
big
love
deal.
it. I'm moving
People,
to the Caribbean.
people in the pools,
Yeah.
having sex. I mean, it's not a big thing.
He's describing
Ooh.
his OnlyFans.
Okay. That reminds me, last year I was on my balcony and there were two people in the pool of my apartment complex having some good ass sex.
I remember that.
Oh,
I remember you talking about that.
I felt so lucky to be able to witness it. Like, oh my
For
God.
free.
For free.
For free in the daytime at that. I said, y'all go ahead, do it. I love it.
Listen, yeah, and being adventurous and just exploring your sexuality, I think if more people did it, less people would be uptight.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
I
we
agree.
wouldn't have so much war in the world.
I know that's right. If more people just fuck.
Which happy people are unhappy people are normally having sex anyway though.
But that's what I mean. Maybe if they were having sex, they would be happy.
Or if they were having some good sex.
If they could get there.
Oh, well. There you go.
Listen, there's something to be said about having good, great sex.
Mhm.
And
I just knew you were getting ready to say there's something about having good angry sex.
no,
Angry.
well, listen, good angry sex can be probably some of the best sex you'll ever have.
I don't know if I've ever had angry sex, but I'm willing to
You
try.
take out
I'm
all
sure
the
whoever you were
aggression.
having sex with was angry.
Oh gosh.
Next question.
Yeah. Okay. So this actually leads into the next question. We asked people dominant or submissive. Which one are you? 33% said they love to be dominated, that they dominate, and 67% said that they are submissive. That doesn't surprise me.
That does not surprise you?
It surprises me. Not that it's true, but that people admit it.
Well, maybe that. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: people, I mean, when they answered this question, they did it anonymously, so they're more willing to, you know what I mean? The one thing I find about people who want to be submissive, and I think we all fall into this category at some point in our lives, where, especially when you are in a leadership role, especially when it comes to work or home, sometimes when you get in the bedroom, and when I say bedroom, I mean figuratively, you just want to let go, not want to have to be in control, and you want to be controlled because you're tired of having to be that person. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I conceptualize submission and control as like Mounds and Almond Joy.
Okay.
You need to elaborate. Yeah.
Please.
Well, because like sometimes you feel submissive, sometimes you don't.
Okay, you're just coming with it today. You're coming with it today.
Oh my God.
Okay.
No, I get that though. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's not all or one thing or another. Like I think that it's very sort of feeling and situation based.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I used to be kind of like 100% like submissive, passive, or whatever.
Used to be.
But shut up. But now it's more so, perhaps it's closer to maybe 60-40, 60% submissive, 40% dominant. I've really been exploring my dominant side lately.
With
I
what?
think the grays may have something to do with it. I feel like I'm entering perhaps like my daddy era, and it's like I'm attracting people that's like, ooh, daddy. And so I'm like, you know what, that's fine. That works for me.
So what
And
must
where are
I
these
say?
alleged short people coming from?
Wow.
Shut up. I am kind of I don't know if I'm surprised. I would love to know if I know it's not possible, but I would love to know the demographic of these numbers, like who responded to these. But obviously, we don't know that. But yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, my take on this is, I think with everything you do in life, you need to have balance, and I think you need to be able to be open to both sides of it. I'm a strong believer in, I, I would I would I would lead to say that I'm more of the dominant side, but there are those occasions where I'm just like, you know what, I want to be completely submissive. I want to lose complete control and not have any control. And there's something to be said about just letting go and not knowing. You know what I mean?
Like a trust
Yes.
fall.
Yes. And it
Yes.
could be surprisingly pleasant when you just let go.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
I think people need to do that more often, just kind of let go. And you know what it is? When you allow yourself to let your inhibitions go, I think that's when or where you find the most pleasure.
Am I muted? No.
No, you're not.
Not yet.
I
Mr. Comic Relief.
I swear. I agree with what both of y'all said. I think for me, it's often like the energy of the person that I'm with. Like
Mhm.
if they're giving me like this really good submissive energy, then that allows me to shift into my more dominant energy. And vice versa. If they're giving me like this good dominant, like I'm gonna tell you what to do, I'm gonna let you relax and you don't have to take control, that I am much that that I am very, very comfortable in being like, yes, just do whatever the fuck you want to do. But it does depend on the energy, and I'm more comfortable now with shifting that energy within myself to fit the situation.
I have a
Yes.
follow-up question for you though, TJ, since you're the only one who has options here. Well, dedicated options. Anyway, my question for you is that do you think that you attract a particular type of energy? Because I know you said it depends on what the energy is and what it's like and what you're feeling. And does your mood change the type of person you attract, or do you generally attract a particular type of energy?
I don't think so. I will say that again, as of late, I feel like I have been attracting more submissive energy. For example, last night I was messaging this guy who is a submissive bottom. And I feel like I've been attracting that a lot lately. But that's not the majority. I think it just depends.
So TJ is
It
giving
varies.
dominant top energy.
I'm in my dom top era.
Okay, mistress.
Mm. Well, thank God for 15 minutes of fame.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the next question was, how has sexuality changed over time? Someone responded saying, way more inclusive and diverse, with more people being comfortable slash accepting of their turn-ons. I think that's absolutely true.
Ooh.
I think it's becoming more
Wait,
common.
hold on. You
Mhm.
said with more people becoming comfortable
Comfortable
or
and
accepting of their
accepting.
turn on,
Yeah,
like personally or like other
I
people?
think I think both, but I think this person was talking about themselves. Because a lot of
Okay.
times, I think that we hold ourselves back because of fear of judgment.
There you go. Facts.
And the minute you let go of that judgment, you can start to really
Mm-hmm.
live.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
When you can be open and honest to your partner, whether it be your spouse or someone you're seeing, or even just, as we would say, random, When you can do that, you can have all the fun that you want and allow that allow yourself to have the pleasure that you really want. A lot of times when people have bad sex is because they don't tell people what the hell they want.
Mhm.
Well, but you could be doing all of that and be with a person who is sort of like not really comfortable with what they want, and so
Well, you don't need
you're.
to be
It
with
seems
them.
like you're doing all the work. Those
Yeah,
are
but
those moments where
yeah,
the energy ain't equal.
yeah, but then that's not the person you want to be with because
Well, we
that's
ain't
the real.
talking about be with them. We talking about just the night,
Just
Well,
fucking
then
one night only.
yeah,
one night only.
exactly, exactly. That is definitely a dream girls moment.
So
Thank
I
you for coming and playing, but goodbye.
Right.
um so some time ago I thought of this term, and I don't know if it's not a term that is already in existence. I would like to take this moment to coin it. But I came up with this term called the privilege of the fringe. And so I feel like there is an advantage or a privilege of living out on the fray or on the fringe of what is acceptable or on society, because it gives you this really interesting viewpoint, um, and this freedom to live in a way where you don't necessarily conform to societal norms. And so, going back to this question, I do feel like, Chris, to what you were saying, like once you do allow yourself to be open and express, like I'm into this thing, or I'm into this kink or this fetish, it is very freeing, and it allows you to be able to explore more of that. Whereas people who are still kind of repressed are like, oh no, I don't know if I could do that, or if I'm afraid to do that, or I can only do this in, certain dark circumstances in a dark room, and I can never let anybody know, which is all fine and good if that's your thing. But there is a freedom in just being open about what you're into.
So here's you said something, and it just made me really think about it. Why is it that there's a negative stereotype and connotation with the terms kink and fetish? Why can't it just be that's just what I like? Why does it have to be like the subcategory that has this stigma attached to it? Everyone doesn't like everything, and some people are just into things that other people aren't into. And here's the thing: I'm not talking about like those wild extremes where like bestiality and all that stuff. I'm not talking about that, but like people look at like S&M as like
Mhm.
kink and stuff like that. Like, why it's just a part of sex? Why
Yeah.
can't it just be that? Why does it have to be categorized into like these specific categories? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I
Um
think that's where the fear of allowing yourself to explore and to do those things comes from, because it's looked down upon
Yeah, but I think that's because we live in a repressive society,
in the
period.
United States. Yes,
Correct,
yes,
period. So anything that goes against the norm, it's automatically like taboo.
the Christian
Um,
values of society.
exactly. So I think that's why it's, you know, taboo, or people are afraid to talk about it, because the powers that be make it that way.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say just Christian society. I think it's all religions, to be honest, but just religious societies in general.
In
You know what I
general.
mean? I do know that overwhelmingly this country is Christian, but I mean, I think that even if you were to choose an alternative religion, you could still end up in a space where you're not completely, free to do all the things. Well, you wouldn't feel completely free to do all the things. I think you're always completely free. But I think what you guys are really describing is self possession, and like I think self possession governs a lot of our experiences, because when you feel completely comfortable or 100% about who you are as an individual, you really don't experience the sort of doubt or excessive care about what other people think about you. That's kind of how I perceive it anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And one thing I wanted to include in this particular question, as far as how has like sexuality changed over time, I feel, especially since 2020, when OnlyFans really became like super popular, I feel like sexuality now is more on the forefront. I feel like a lot of people are talking about sex more. And I think
Publicly.
it's
Well,
publicly,
yes,
and I think it's a little bit more accepting because you
Yes.
now have like celebrities with OnlyFans pages, right? And I appreciate that. Not the fact that celebrities have OnlyFans. I just the fact that more people are talking about sex,
Yeah.
and sex is less taboo and less on the fringe.
Yes. So and
Yeah.
actually, so that is we had two other responses to that, and it kind of goes along the lines of what we've been saying. So one other person's response was people are more open and free, which is I think
Mhm.
absolutely true in today's age. And then
Mhm.
also someone said kinks and fetishes have become more mainstream. Virtual sex work is popular as well, which is
Yeah.
absolutely true. At least the OnlyFans.
Virtual
Mhm.
what work? Oh, virtual sex
Virtual
work.
sex work, yeah.
Okay.
There's something to actually to be said about doing virtual sex work, OnlyFans, doing live streams. It's a safer environment than say going out and working on the streets or
Yeah.
even in doing like online working for like those quote unquote traditional um sex uh
On the street.
studios. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No, like streetwalkers, hookers,
So back in
ladies
the
who live
day, what
nice.
was your favorite street?
Um, I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay. Okay. We'll
or
keep
even
it private.
or even like strip, I mean, at strip clubs, I mean, there are things that happen behind the scenes. The
Yeah.
girls take a lot of abuse from the people that are, patrons.
Yeah.
Whereas now people can do this in the safety and comfort of their own homes and be their own boss and make their own money. You know what I mean?
Yes. And this is
Hmm.
going to be the last thing I say about this particular question, so because we so we can move on. But I like going back to like talking about like public sex cruising, and now that we're talking about like OnlyFans and virtual sex work or whatever, I actually don't really, or I have like thoughts about people with an OnlyFans or people like recording very risky public sex or like bringing like their OnlyFans to like the cruising park or whatever, because I feel as a longtime cruiser, I feel that there is a sanctity in the cruise. I feel like there is a sanctity in the world of cruising, right? So and a lot of people who
A
go
Where it should just be
sanctity.
private.
it should be private, because a lot of people who go cruising are DL. They don't necessarily, you know what I mean? They may not supposed to be there. They may have other lives or their wives, whatever. And so here you come, like with your phone, you're wanting to record content. I would hope that you're doing it with the consent of the people that are around you. But I also have a feeling that we live in such a world where you're so apt to just record everything that you don't really ask or give a fuck. And so I just feel like sometimes the phone or the camera, it does not belong in certain spaces or certain places,
What
because
if that
again,
adds to the risk and the thrill of the risk for the person? Like, because it sounds to me, what I hear you saying is that you object to the violation of the tradition of cruising.
I
and that,
do.
and
I
that's
do.
that's kind of like ironic when we're talking about rejecting traditional values. And so like I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like,
I know.
I get what he's saying, though. I mean, it does make sense. Like I guess
well,
the
it
whole
always
purpose.
makes sense. The stuff that we want to move away from is not because it don't make sense. It's because we don't necessarily want it anymore.
This
Yeah,
is
I
true.
guess when it comes to cruising, I'm a traditionalist, which is strange because I'm never a traditionalist of anything else. But
I
I
believe
find it
in the traditional values.
of
Wow.
cruising. I do. I feel like there is a yeah, there is a tradition, there is a sanctity when
I
it
want you to
comes.
just take the rest of those feelings, and share them with Sandy, our resident therapist,
I'm
when
gonna
you
write
go
a
out for
book.
this video.
I'm gonna write a book about it. I'm gonna write a
Because
whole book.
there's some conflicting desires happening.
We just gonna pick and choose which ones we like.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. I want to be
Exactly.
free, but not too free.
But not too free, child.
I don't want my freedom recorded.
Right, exactly. I have the right to not be
Hold on.
recorded.
in a public space.
in a public space
In a public space. You damn
that
right.
was
Anyway,
designed for daytime use.
that was not designed for what you're doing in here, sir. So
Wait,
yeah.
but wait, who said it wasn't?
They weren't explicit about the use
They didn't
case.
say signs, no cruising. But
Mm,
anyway,
yeah,
moving on. We're
true.
moving on.
All right.
So the last question we had asked people were, "Are you freaky or not?" This one actually kind of surprised me. 100% of the people that responded said they are 100% freaky.
Child, there's people who on that thing. It's freaky when I eat macaroni and cheese while we have sex. Girl,
Not macaroni and cheese.
no, just because you have a snack in the bed, don't make it freaky. Just because you have a marijuana cigarette while you having sex, don't make it freaky.
A marijuana cigarette.
Mm-mm.
I think this was, I think this is maybe another instance where we need to maybe define freaky, because I think, people have different definitions of the word, perhaps.
Yeah, no, this was a very general look. It wasn't very specific. I think we can go and do a more specific episode later, but like I think freaky isn't about the eye of the beholder. Like one person's level of freakiness is not another's. Like
That's the damn,
Certainly.
like freakiness could be a threesome, a foursome. Freakiness could be, a stripper pole in the bedroom or a swing in the bedroom. Freakiness could be having other people watch. Freakiness could be multiple people participating, going to a sex party. I mean,
I haven't heard a thing I dislike yet.
Well, that's because you're a sexual sociopath.
No, he's just being free and expressing himself.
Yeah, so are murderers.
Listen,
Wait.
I am not Alexis Michelle. Leave me alone.
No, wait. Is this going to be a new show in the last 48?
Exactly. It was gonna be, and he's gonna be the host
with
What
tons
have
of
you
black
done in the
lights.
last 48?
There-
Don't
not
bring
the
no black
black
light around
lights.
here. We all in trouble. We all going to jail.
I'm just gonna go and trade my car in.
Okay.
Get your bail money right.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't call on any of y'all because we all gonna be in jail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
No,
my
but
God.
like, I guess, like you said, there's a spectrum to freaky. I would say that most people probably are freaky in their own minds and not freaky in other people's. Like, it just, you know what I mean? Like, so with a scale that slides so like dramatically, I think it's kind of hard to categorize it unless we put out these particular behaviors, but then that would be subscribing to the normality of sexual deviancy. So like,
Very much true. Very much true. But it's just interesting to see where people fall on the spectrum. And just by this little simple survey that we did, I feel as though people are a lot more open and adventurous and willing to try things and not be as conservative and zipped up as in the past.
I have a question for both of you. How connected do you think that is to age? Because in my world, which is very interesting, I found that what I think is acceptable, accessible, or interesting, or like okay to ask for is there's a much more robust list than there used to be.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I learned shit or if I'm just willing to be like, ooh, let's try that,
Yeah.
No, I think age has a lot to do with it. I think as you mature, you get older, you have a lot more life experiences. You're less afraid, and you're more willing and open to different possibilities. And the thing is,
maybe you just want to try before your back don't do that no more.
Exactly
or before you die.
Right. Right.
Look,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. Go ahead, TJ.
No, I really love like freaky old people. I love hearing about old people still getting their shit going.
Like the lady with the panties that you sent us. She had the cross panties with her husband.
Yes.
She had to be like 85 or something.
Yeah.
Listen, girl, get it.
I love because you know old people are having sex, but
Speaking of that, that population has the most STDs than anybody else.
Well,
Yes, because they're in the nursing home.
Yeah, but go ahead, TJ.
but yeah, I just I love it because like it reminds you that sex does not stop at a certain age.
Right.
I love that. But I will say that I think it depends on perhaps your growth throughout your life, because if you started out as a prude or being conservative and you never really explored, then chances are once you get older or old, you're going to be that old person that's like, oh my God, what is this? What are they right doing? Blah, blah. But
Listen,
yeah.
I'll be 48 this year. This is the best time of my life.
I am actively practicing taking limits off my life.
Listen,
I know that's right.
That thing went away years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you, you live once in this life that
If
we
you're
know
lucky.
of, if you're lucky. And don't hold yourself back. Allow yourself the freedom to be and do what it is that you want to do.
And fuck what other people say or think.
Absolutely. Because guess what? Ultimately, you don't have to answer to them.
Damn right.
You answer to the person that you're with or you're with for that moment. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
And if y'all are enjoying it and having a good time, do you, boo. That's what I say.
As they say in the BDSM club that I just joined, make it safe, sane, and consensual.
Word. That part.
And with that, don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and hit the notification button because we bring to you new videos every Wednesday and Thursday at noon. All right, guys. See you next time.